Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about the upcoming fight between Rafael Fiziev and Rafael dos Anjos. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so we got a fight coming up here in the main event between Rafael Fiziev and Rafael dos Anjos. Now look, first time you look at this fight, it's easy to turn around and think that this is going to be a young lion versus an old lion, right? It's a classic setup. We got Fiziev, young guy, on the come up, looking phenomenal. A lot of people talk about this guy and they look at his striking, they think it's incredible. They think this is a guy who has the potential to be a future champion, right? They think that this is a guy who's got to go out there to get to beat everybody, put it on him, snatch the belt up. That's the type of potential they like with this guy. That's the type of way that people talk about him. Then we got Dos Anjos, former champion of the division. Went out there, dominated a lot of people for a long time. Ends up losing the belt at 155 to Eddie Alvarez. Ends up dropping another fight to Tony Ferguson before eventually going up to 170. Looked decent there. Ended up losing, I don't know, 4 out of 5 fights. But he's fighting the biggest names. He's fighting out of his weight class. Didn't get blown out. Right? Was able to go up there and show his skill set in a respectable fashion. Comes back down to 155. He's like 37 years old at this point. But here's the thing. If I tell you we got a young lion versus an old lion fight, the first thing that comes to mind is that the young guy's a phenom, old guy's past his prime, on the decline. It's a setup for the young guy to get the old guy's name on his resume. And that isn't exactly what I see here. That's not exactly how I think about this fight. And mainly it's because of Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos is not a man who's over the hill. Dos Anjos is not a man who's a shell of his former self. Fiziev is a young talent. Fiziev is a phenom. He's on the rise. But Dos Anjos still has something left in the tank. You think about his fights with Felder and Moicano. Dude, he can still go out there. He can still get it done. I love the low kicks. I love the control the distance. He's been working with Jason Perillo for a long time now. His hands are still getting better. He's got this way of throwing that straight left hand out of the southpaw stance that catches guys. Now look, I'll be perfectly honest. If this was a kickboxing match, if that's all we were going to do out here was go out and these two gentlemen were going to do a Muay Thai against each other, that's all we were going to see, it'd be easy to go with Fiziev. Dude, his hands are so fast. The kicks are so fast and so powerful. He can lead and he can counter. He can control the distance. He can apply pressure. I mean, look what we saw him do against Bobby Green. Look what we saw him do against Brad Riddell. I love the step-in elbows that he used against both of those guys to open up cuts on them. Just great work. But at the same time, if we're being perfectly honest with each other, he's got some holes in his defense. Both of those gentlemen were able to go out there and land a lot of shots against him. Bobby Green was able to roll a lot of the steam off of the shots before he got caught. He was able to land a lot of punches on his own. Brad Riddell, even though he was backing up, even though he didn't have the best body posture, even though he looked a little bit confused at times, he was still able to get a lot of good work done before he got caught. Now, both of those men eventually got caught. Both of those men, Bobby Green didn't get caught. He didn't get stopped. He lost the fight. Brad Riddell got caught. He got stopped. But prior to that, both of those men were getting some good work done, even though they both lost the fight. So now, Rafael dos Anjos steps up. And in the one hand, we know Fiziev is more talented physically. But is he stronger? Does he have more experience? When he gets caught with the shots that Dos Anjos throws, what's going to happen? Has he ever had somebody attack his legs in the way that Dos Anjos can? And here's two big questions. Here's the two big questions for me that really make me question whether or not Fiziev can win this fight. What's going to happen when Dos Anjos takes him down? Or goes for the takedown, I'll say that. Can he stop it? He wasn't able to stop it against Brad Riddell. We haven't seen guys go in there and really try to wrestle him to death. But we've seen Dos Anjos add wrestling to his game. We've seen him add that wrinkle. We've seen him do it against much bigger men at 170 pounds. We've seen him get dominated in the wrestling department that way. That was the reason he had to drop back down to 155. He couldn't handle the grappling with those bigger men. But he was able to do a little bit here and there. And he started to work it into his game, started to make it a part of it. We've seen him since he dropped back down to 155. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So when he gets a man on the ground, he knows how to control him. He's not the type of guy that at 155, he takes you down and you're able to just pop back up like it's no problem at all. But he wanted to keep you down. He was trying to, but he couldn't. It's not what we really see. So if he gets Fiziev down, odds are he'll be able to keep him there. So now we got a man who's probably going to wrestle. Maybe not right away, doesn't need to force it, but he's going to work that into his game. Is Fiziev going to be able to handle that? Is it going to tire him out? Because, by the way, this fight is 5 rounds. That's the other thing. We've never seen Fiziev go 5 rounds. Is he still going to be explosive in the 4th and 5th? Is he still going to have that stopping power in that right hand? What's going to happen if he's getting those legs kicked? What's going to happen if Dos Anjos is taking him down, running on the gas tank, landing some good left hands here and there? I think those are some questions that we haven't seen yet. And look, there's always a time in a guy's career when we haven't seen questions answered. We have them, we're wondering what's going to happen, and then he's presented with the test. And he passes or he doesn't. It happens with everybody, right? They start out and we don't know what they got, and then slowly they build throughout, and eventually they reach a point where they stop. They reached the pinnacle of what they can do, and we see them reach that point before they reach, the ultimate status, let's say winning a belt. Other guys just don't get off. Other guys just don't stop. They continually get tested. They continually pass the test. Now, I think this is going to be a tougher one for Fiziev than people think. We look at Las Vegas. They got the odds set at minus 225 for Fiziev. Okay? That translates to approximately a 69% chance of him winning the fight. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Man. I think people are underestimating what Dos Anjos brings to the table. And I think it's because when we look at those fights, the ones that are fresh in our mind are the ones when he was back at 170 pounds. And yeah, he lost 4 out of those 5 fights. But we're talking about guys like Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, Michael Chiesa. Those are big guys, skilled fighters who are much bigger. There's weight classes for a reason. Dos Anjos was never supposed to be at 170 pounds, but once he lost the belt to Alvarez, once he lost to Tony Ferguson, it was kind of one of those situations where it's like he's not necessarily going to get another shot at the belt. It's a tough weight cut because dude's he's a pretty thick guy anyways. He's pretty beastie, so it was always a little bit tougher to get down to 155 pounds, but tried his hand at 170. But now he's back down. He seems to be able to make the cut fine. His cardio has never been a problem. I'll be honest, I'm going to take the upset in this one. I'm going to go with Dos Anjos. I'm going to say that he figures out a way to get it done. He uses that veteran experience. He attacks the legs a little bit, takes some of the steam from what Fiziev is able to do. He uses that left hand. He's able to confuse the distance a little bit, keeps him guessing by mixing in a takedown every now and then, again, tiring him out a little bit. And I'm going to say that Fiziev shows a little bit of wear and tear. And then when it's all said and done, this ends up becoming a 5-round decision. It may be a controversial win, but 3 rounds to 2, Rafael dos Anjos. So let me know what you guys think. Am I underestimating what Fiziev can do? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. This dude could catch anybody in the first round, catch anybody in the second round, catch anybody in the third round. So explosive, so strong. But I think I got to play the odds on this one. And for the slight edge, love the fact that he's an underdog. Give him a slight chance, over percentage of winning, maybe 55-45. But I'm going with Dos Anjos on this one. So let me know what you guys think. Is Fiziev going to pull it out? Is Dos Anjos going to do it? And what's going to be next for each man?